Go ahead. Yep, free testing. Discpersonalitytesting.com. So we've got Mike Brown here. Does everybody know Mike? Is he a familiar face for everybody? Okay, so he's our finance manager here. So if you have any questions and like shopping and getting set up on the platform, he is your guy. So basically that's what I do now is I manage Intraland. I manage our Utah Home and Auto Insurance Company and also Real Advantage Title. I'm kind of like the liaison between all of that. But because I've been at KW for so long, I just want you guys to know that if you have any questions on your contracts or Keller Williams or whatever, I'm here for you. I either know the answer or I know somebody who knows the answer. So just another tier of support for you guys. Okay. I also have the CE roster being spread or passed around. So make sure that you guys sign up on that and I'll get your credits banked today. So as you guys are taking this test, I just have this funny video that I want to have you guys watch.
We prayed about it. This is our dream home. So we're going to offer 10K over asking. I'd love you to tell the homeowners.
Actually, someone's dad just came in and offered 100 grand over the asking price, all in cash. They backed up a literal money truck.
What, you need my best and final offer? Well, what's the highest offer? I'm not allowed to know that. What? There's 15 people making an offer? I don't. Oh, a house just hit the market this morning? You want me to look at it? Well, like every other day you call me, I have a job, so I can't see it until tonight. It'll be sold by then. Okay, great. This is fun. House hunting. I want a realtor hunt. Figure it out. Realtor, what? You're going to make what? 15, 20 grand for emailing a DocuSign? You're not doing anything. People are just buying them. Another one hit the market. We'll put in an offer. I know I haven't seen it. What are my options? Does it have a toilet and a driveway? Cool. You know, we did not want to do a fixer-upper, but honey, it could be a nice bonding experience for us. How hard could it be? We'll put in an offer. The realtor just called. We got the house. Yeah, I mean, there's a hole in one of the ceilings, but it's summer. We got time. Inspections next week. Whew, inspection time. I'm nervous, man.
Just FYI, do not expect the previous owners to fix anything or you will lose the deal.
It's okay. Why am I paying $800 for an inspection?
Oh, it's just kind of a fun way to see how badly you screwed up.
Cool. All right. Honey, the mortgage company called. They want to know if we want to do a 15 flat, 30 this, APR. What? I misspelled mortgage this morning. I don't know what's going on. I signed something. I don't know what we're getting.
Congrats on closing, you guys. I got you a little something.
Thank you, realtor, for spending 0.0001% of your commission on a little gift for us and getting us this piece of crap. Oh, we don't close for 8 weeks? Oh my God. Could we move that up? Because our apartment lease ends in 5 weeks. We can't? Okay. Well, you know the area, right? What bridge should we sleep under for 3 freaking weeks? What is going on? Okay, time to pack up and move. We actually don't have that much stuff. Like this won't take that long. This will take the weekend, if that. Hey, Michael. What's up, buddy? I rarely talk to, but owns a pickup truck. How you been? What are you doing Saturday morning? You free? Honey, we're gonna need some help moving. Let me text our friends. Let me text everyone. Hey, everyone, we need help moving this weekend. In return, you get free cheap beer and pizza for your 6 hours of manual labor. Hey, honey, I'm afraid we have more junk than I thought. I just found a single ski. There's a pillow that says Dad and Bougie. Oh, day 7. This is horrible. I can't believe our friends didn't know. I offered a Little Caesars. Okay, everything's finally in. Now all I have to do is unpack it all and put it up. I know, I'm done. Honey, no, you're the one who said I'm bad at unpacking at therapy. Finally, we're here. What, honey? You can't get the fridge to work? Just call the landlord and he'll... When's trash day? How in the world do I know that? You tell me. When's trash day? I don't know when trash day. The apartment, they just picked it up. Alexa, turn on family room lights.
Did you mean lights?
No, honey. The smart home's a cool feature. It's like Alexa, turn on. Oh, so, honey, I just got an email that our washer and dryer shipment's delayed 4 months. I don't even care. I'm just going to rewear stuff. If you need it, there's a laundromat down the street. No, sweetheart, remember how we got this house because it has a bad foundation? Well, maybe this house is also a bad foundation for us. I'm sick of you. It's time we tackle that hole in the ceiling. I watched some YouTube videos. I think we can get this. Home Depot, we got it. Honey, the shower drain is clogged again. It's like I'm married to a German Shepherd. I don't know how to fix it. You fix it. I know. Maybe we just move. Oh, you can't wait to start a family in this house? Look at the yard. Look how many weeds are out there. I can't fertilize the yard, let alone you. Another weekend, another DIY project. Pretty ironic we have a fixed mortgage when everything in here is freaking broken. Oh, I can't do it. I can't fix it. This DIY Trending towards DUI pretty quick. Both are horrible choices. Just hire somebody. Get a carpenter and an Uber. We just have to remember we're doing this because it's financially wise, right? We just had to pay the down payment and the mortgage and the property taxes and the insurance and the HOA fees and all the upkeep and the renovation. The apartment was just $1,200 a month. It was so easy. Thanks for watching. If you want some of my new Vibes Are Up merch, hit my website here. And if you want more content, go to my Patreon here. Weekly bonus videos, behind the scenes,
anybody watched
etc. Thank y'all.
I think it's freaking hilarious.
Every single month.
I think it's so
I have
funny
been
about
thinking about
that video though, is he created it like it was over a year ago and it's still so applicable to today. Okay. How are we doing on the test? Anybody else need a little bit more time? Okay, that's okay. I've got one more video that we'll watch, but we'll go ahead and get started. And I won't go too far ahead, I promise. Okay, so I wanted to give you just like a little bit of history on the DISC assessment and why this is important. First of all, the characteristics of behavior. I think what we all know that behavior, it's pretty much established in a human by the age of like 25 to 27, right? That's when the frontal lobe is mostly completely developed. And after that point, behavior isn't something that can necessarily be changed from somebody. Sometimes personality can. You can change thinking patterns, right? But behavior, just who you are as a person, is pretty set in stone. The only time that you really do ever see any sort of change in somebody's behavior would be if it was like a forced behavioral change, like a trauma or something like that. But overall, the person that you get or that you're working with is the person that you get. So some fun facts about behavior is that this actually, they've studied behavior all the way back to the ancient Greeks. And the DISC assessment became established in the 1920s by William Marston, where he outlined 4 basic characteristics of different or behavioral types. And then if you guys want to go a little bit more deeper into this, I don't know if any of you have heard of the AVA assessment. We used to use it a lot before we came out with the KPA here at KW, but the AVA is a more in-depth version of the DISC assessment. So if you guys do want to spend a little bit more time after this class and study that a little bit more, I would recommend taking the AVA. Who here has not taken the Keller personality assessment or the KPA? Anybody know what that is? You haven't taken it either? Okay. I want to get your guys' contact information and make sure that somebody on staff sits down with you and does the assessment. What's really cool is this is a personality assessment that we've created within Keller Williams. And we've partnered with like Harvard and a bunch of the bigger colleges to create these algorithms. And what's so cool about it is the KPA is not only going to tell us what type of person you are, kind of like what the DISC would do, but it also tells us what your preferred communication style is, or how you best operate in teams, or what the best ways are that we as leadership can coach you. So I would say if you're in coaching, let's have your coach meet with you, or even Shoni or somebody on leadership to sit down and validate this KPA with you, because from a leadership standpoint, we can get to know you super quickly, but we also know how we can best communicate with you and how we can help you grow. Okay, so the DISC assessment, this is an assessment that provides a rich analysis of how individuals communicate and relate to one another, how the individual will operate under stress, and it's a tool used to improve communication, reduce conflict, and develop effective leaders and teams. So this is why I wanted you guys to take some time to take your own assessment, and I want you to get your own scores, because as we're going through the class today, I want you to kind of, you can relate to different personality traits, right? And so, like I said earlier in team meeting, the best way for you to communicate or to connect with anybody is for you to understand yourself first, right? You need to understand what your strong suits are, what your weaknesses are, how you might be perceived on first impressions, and how you can kind of, move with the flow and be a chameleon, right? And level with people, because if you can level with people with where they're at, then you're going to get them to become more naturally open to you a lot faster. Okay, so I'm going to start diving a little bit into the sheet that I gave you guys. And then there's a short video that's going to dive a little bit deeper into each personality trait. But the worksheet that I gave you that has the 4 quadrants on it with the D, I, S, and C, I gave these to you to follow along. If you want to jot these down, then you totally can. I'd recommend that you do because it's a good quick reference guide, I think. And I know I realized that I printed off the wrong disc one. So it's exactly the same. It's just a little flip-flopped. So sorry about that. But the first that we're going to do is draw a horizontal line across the chart. And this is going to divide it into an upper quadrant and a lower quadrant. So this is saying that the people on this side are your task-oriented people. These are the people that want results now and they're more impatient, or they're the ones that want to have the checklist and their day is not done until they've gone through and checked everything off their checklist, right? And then on this side, you've got your people-oriented people. So these are the people that are either your social butterflies. They're the life of the party. They're going to be the first one to open up a conversation with you, or they thrive at networking events. That for me personally sounds absolutely horrendous. But some people love that stuff. That's how they fill their cup, right? Or your people-oriented people who are kind of like the caregivers, right? Or I would say like the motherly figures. They want to make sure everybody's happy, everybody's taken care of. So those are your two sides there. And then the next one is you're going to draw a vertical line that's going to break it up into 2 more quadrants, which is going to have on the top your fast and aggressive people. So these are the people that are very high energy. They're very driven. They want results now. And they're the ones that are continuously either pushing the ball forward, or they're the ones that are a little bit more impatient in getting results. And then see if we can, there we go. And then at the bottom, you've got your steady and cautious people. These are the ones that are going to be the people who want to read through the whole contract, right? They're going to be the ones to take the time to actually look up and validate your statistics. And they're going to be a little bit more slower paced. Some people are a little bit more impatient with these guys, but these are the ones that are very, very detail oriented. Okay. So now this is about what your graph should look like. Okay. So I'm going to pull up this video, which is going to go into this a little bit more, and then it's going to help kind of give you a good foundation for each personality trait. Has everybody finished taking their assessment now? Okay, cool. Make sure that you hang on to your results at the end. It's going to give you a D, I, S, or C result. Just make note of that. If it gives you 2 of them, write down both the letters that it gives you 2.
World. There are task-oriented people and there are people-oriented people. So in a marriage, task-oriented people, again, are all about doing things. They want to get stuff done. People-oriented people are all about people, relationships. They're the warm and fuzzy people. Hey, honey, I love you. I love you. You sure look nice today. You love me, because they need that. They're people-oriented. The task-oriented person says, if you love me, you do the dishes. Just do the dishes, vacuum. You know what? Why don't you vacuum every once in a while? That's where you get this dichotomy of people. I get up every day and I vacuum and I clean the house. And then when my wife comes home, the house is all beautiful and it looks great. And then she doesn't say anything. And so now I vacuum and I do the dishes and I polish all the stuff. And now the house is looking immaculate. And then I go out and clean the van and I replace the garage door and I paint the house. I'm doing all these things. And my wife is like, how come you never tell me you love me? You think I like to vacuum and wash? She's like, well, yeah, obviously I thought you did. Otherwise, why would you do those things? But if she's not a task-oriented person, she just wants to know, I love you. After dinner, we put the kids to bed and I finally sit down and I just want to watch a little TV and talk to my wife. But she gets up and she does the dishes. And I think to myself, why doesn't she want to be with me? Here's our chance to talk, to communicate. Why doesn't she want to be with me? Because she's task oriented. She's saying, you know what? I want to get these dishes done. I want to do this in order to show my love. And all I need is for somebody to tell me they love me. Really, genuinely, that's all I'm looking for. Why don't you want to talk to me? Why don't you want to be with me? And so that's the difference between task and people-oriented people. There's also the active and passive style. Do you want to know what the difference between active and passive styles are? Active style will borrow stuff. Passive style lends. If you remember school, if you were the guy that said, hey, can I borrow your pencil? Hey, can I borrow your pencil? You were probably an active style. You were probably a D or an I style. If you were the person that lent those pencils, you were probably the S or the C style. If in the morning you got up and you packed pencils and said, I'm going to pack a couple extra pencils just in case that somebody doesn't have a pencil, will have a pencil, you're an S style. And then the higher your S goes on that scale, you'll do things like this. I'm going to buy pencils that have a message on them, like have a nice day, or you're wonderful. That way, when people borrow my pencils, they feel good about themselves. And so you actually special order these pencils that have these messages so that when people borrow pencils, you'd be like, oh man, I am special. As your S goes up, those are the things that you do. Then you get little funny pencils with fuzzy stuff on the top. You really want people to enjoy using the pencil that you provided for them. And it makes you feel good. You'd be like, you enjoy that pencil. Now, if you're the C style, after somebody bought your pencil and never gave it back, because you'll say, yeah, sure, you can borrow this. Where are you going to be? 7th period. Okay, I'll meet you there, because they want their pencil back. But they'll lend it to you, but they want it back. And then after a while, when people keep taking their pencil, they're like, you know what? Now you special order pencils with your name on it. John's pencil. If found, please return to, you want your pencil back. And after a while, when people keep borrowing your pencil and you don't get them back, you finally say, you know, all right, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I'm just going to bring 3 pencils because that's the minimum that I need. And so when somebody says, hey, can I borrow a pencil? You're like, I'm sorry, I can't. But you got 3 pencils there. That's what the I's saying. Like, look, you got 3 pencils there. He's like, yeah, well, this is the pencil that I'm going to use. Then my backup pencil, because if it breaks or something, I need a backup pencil. And then the emergency pencil, because God forbid something happens to the primary pencil and the backup pencil, you need the emergency pencil. And I never use the emergency pencil. It's in a glass case and I keep it right here, you know, so hopefully I'll never, ever have to use that. I can pass it on to my kids, but they will have 3 pencils. They won't lend them to you. So those are the styles, and everyone's a blend of that. If you're looking at this, if you're active and you're task oriented, you're that D style. You're all about getting stuff done. If you're that active style, if you approach people and talk to them, but you're more people oriented, then you're that I style. If you are people oriented and you're passive, and so your people orientation is all about relationships and family and getting to know people, then you're that S personality style. If you're very task oriented, but you're also passive and reserved, you're that C style, that compliant style. And again, we're all a blend of these people. And so what you're learning when you take this DISC personality style is, what's my blend look like? What does my blend look like?
Okay, does that help give you guys kind of like a good overview? You can kind of see now we've got a good foundation of what to start with. Can you guys kind of see so far from the outside looking in why it's important to understand these different personality types? Like even as you're watching that video, did you have any people in mind that you kind of had these different interactions with? I think I think about like my mom all the time in that video. She's such a caregiver. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive deep into each different personality trait and get a little bit more familiar with each one of them. So we're first going to start with the D type. And so you can't even tell on here. Normally I've got a cute little picture of an animal that it reminds me of like these personality types. So I put a lion there. It's probably just the screen. So lions are kind of, characteristic for me, at least for a D type. And another way that I think of D type personalities or each personality type is I like to associate a descriptive word that starts with that letter. So for D, I like to say, okay, this is a driver person. This is a dominant person. They're the ones that want to get things done. So first with your D type personalities, they ask what type questions. What are we going to do to get this done? What are you going to do to get my home sold? What are the results, right? They're a very bottom line driven person. So as you're interacting with them, you're going to be able to spot them really quickly because these are the people that aren't going to want to sit in small talk. They're going to ask you very blunt and straightforward questions. Sometimes these people can come off a little bit abrasive, but that's okay because if you can spot that this is the type of personality that you are, and if you're not a high D type, then you know that you need to kind of step it up and just meet their energy and match them where they're at. So their keywords, oh my gosh, I knew I was going to do this. 1 second. If I can do this real quick. Sorry, hold please. Okay. Cool, here we go. All right, so, oh my gosh, I was gonna do it here too. You guys, sad. Okay, well, I'll just read it to you. So the keywords are that they're dominant, direct, and decisive. So if you want to write that down in the keywords box. Their key emotion is that they're quick to anger. And I don't want that to be misconstrued and like they get angry, right? But I just think that's where a lot of their impatience can shine through. So if you feel like they're getting impatient, if you feel like, you know, the conversation's not moving on long enough, that's how you know we're working with a D, right? So they're motivated by a challenge and the bottom line. This is the worst, you guys. I'm sorry, but this is not working out. I wonder if it's just because they don't have my fonts. Whatever. So their motto is to just do it, just get it done. So these are the people that don't fear change. Change actually excites them. So they're the ones that actually get bored pretty quickly too. They want to have a new challenge. They want to have something to be working on at all times. And they're going to be the ones that are probably at the forefront of change and implementing that growth, right? They're the ones that are encouraging it. Whereas we'll talk about the personalities that are probably going to be a little bit more resistant to change. Their dominant fear is being taken advantage of and wasting time. So sometimes these people can come up like sometimes they come across like they don't want to get to know you, right? They're not a very personable type person. But I would say if you're in a listing presentation or buyer presentation, that's for after the fact, right? Once you get to know them, once you get their questions answered and get them their results, right? If they're open to the conversation, then we'll leave the chit chat and the small talk for after the meeting's concluded. So overall, they shape their environment by overcoming oppositions to accomplish results. So the just get it done, just do it, very, very bottom line driven. Does anybody in here think that they're a D type personality? Yeah, you definitely are. Yeah, no, I am too. I am. So as we're kind of going through, I'm a DI. So my D and my I's are both, yeah, I would say we're definitely the same.
I don't think I used to be a D. I think that over time, I've kind of evolved into that.
Yeah.
So I think it can kind of change.
Yeah, I think it's all also on a kind of a case by case basis. I think it depends on your environment that you're in. One is going to naturally show up more than another might. So like for me, obviously at work, I'm a very high D. Like I drive with my D, and like the I definitely comes into sometimes. But like if I'm with friends, I'm probably more of an I than I am a D. But they definitely kind of dance together for me, at least a little bit. Did anybody else's test results show up as a D? I'm just curious. The last one. Okay. So that's good insight, right? And so that's just giving you your rankings on how you show up naturally in different environments. So if your results are saying that your D was your lowest result, then that's just awareness for you to know, like, if you're coming into an appointment with me or Heather, then you're going to have to bring up that D, right? They're not going to want to, again, chit chat and be friendly necessarily. Let's talk about the results. And then then we can chit chat after, you know what I mean? Okay. So D type strengths. So, and I think this is another thing too. It's not necessarily that there's good characteristics or bad characteristics, right? It's just exposing everything, all the good things, all of the weaknesses, just to have that awareness so you know when to tone it up and when to tone it down. So the strengths of a D type, they're a bottom line organizer. They place value on time. They challenge the status quo, and they're most likely the innovators, right? They're the ones that are welcoming the change. So for a job type in a company, you're going to see the D types most likely being like a CEO of a company. So like a Shoni or a Johnny Christensen, a lot of team leads are D type personalities because of like that visionary status that they have. And they're the ones that are embracing and pushing and driving, right? The weaknesses of a D type is that they're very likely to overstep authority. That's not intentional, right? But they're just the freight trains. They're just going to get it done. They don't care who they take down in the process. They attempt too much at once. They think they can do it all. They have an argumentative attitude and they dislike routine. And I would say, you know, more on the argumentative standpoint, they're probably more likely to vocalize like challenges. Like they want to challenge what you have to say. They want to validate it. So yeah, they're definitely very argumentative, but I would say that they're most likely the first ones to speak up if they disagree about anything. Okay, so when interacting with a D-type personality, do be brief, direct, and to the point. Ask again, what, not how questions. If you're asking a how question, it leaves it open up to conversation, right? They just want to know what you're going to do and how you're going to get it done and when you're going to done, right? They don't want to necessarily brainstorm on it together. Do focus on business. Remember that they desire results. They or suggest ways to achieve results, lead and solve problems, highlight logical benefits of featured ideas and approaches. So you'll definitely feel with your conversations with these type of personalities that they're very quick conversations. They move very fast. Do you think D types have ADHD more than both of them? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that and like the eyes. We'll talk about eyes. So don't ramble, don't repeat yourself, don't focus only on problems. Again, be solution based. Don't make generalizations and don't make statements without support. So again, that's where they're going to come in and potentially challenge you on things that they either disagree with, or if they want to know more, they're going to dig deeper and they're going to push you on it. A little bit more aggressive. Okay, so a quick recap, how to spot one. They are the bottom line thinkers. They can be perceived as abrasive. Their mottos: just get to the bottom line, cut to the chase. Tell me if you can do the job or not, right? So your closing statement with a D type, what do you think that would be? Are you ready to sign the contract? Are we ready to go? Just right to the bottom. How to close one: be prepared and organized, be upfront and close on the spot. Don't waste any time, because you have right in that moment, that's your one chance to really close that D type, because if you give them time to think about it, or if you're too late to the drawing line, then you might have missed your opportunity. So if you feel like the opportunity is there, just take it. So when you go to these appointments with these type of personalities, your appointments are probably, or could be, 15 minutes long, right? Show up, give them their bottom line and get the contract signed. And then you can leave it at that. Quick and easy. Okay. Before we move on to eyes, any thoughts, anything you guys want to add on D type personalities? Pretty clear, pretty straightforward. Okay. All right. So your eye types. This one's my favorite because they're the little dolphins. This is my picture for an eye type personality. So keep that in mind. But the eyes, they're the influencers of the crowd. So these are the ones that are the social butterflies. And these are the ones that might have a little bit more ADHD than others. But they're going to be the first ones to go out. And when you go to listing appointments with these type of personalities, your appointments are probably going to be an hour long. They want to sit with you. They want to sit and chit chat. They want to know about your kids and your weekend, and they want to tell you about their kids and their weekend. So that's how you're going to know when you're working with this guy. They ask who type questions. So they're very sociable, right? They're very people oriented, and they want to do things together. So who are we going to do this with? Who is going to help us? These are definitely more the team players and the cheerleaders of the crowd. So their influencing their keywords are influencing, interactive, and impulsive. Sorry about my slides, you guys. So annoying. So let's think about somebody who on staff do you guys feel like might be a high I? Somebody that's super like gregarious, over the top, life of the party. Who plans your events? She's super cute, blonde, curly hair. Talina. Yes, she definitely would be a huge high I. Carl Spencer is a huge I, just all over the place. Wants to talk with everybody, be everybody's friend, right? Lots of influence. Okay, their key emotion is that there is optimism. Very optimistic people. And if things are going bad, if things are going sour, then they're going to be the ones that are going to say, hey, it's okay. We're going to get this figured out. And that's one script that you can use with them too, is we are going to figure this out. Use a lot of we words when you're working with them. They want to feel part of the crowd. They want to feel part of the team, and that they They have influence. They're motivated by flattery and recognition. So these are the first ones that are going to compliment you on your hair or on your outfit. But this is also one of the love languages of high I's is they want flattery and they want recognition. So make sure you take the time to tell them about how great they are and how cute their house is and how cute their family is. And remember these small little things that they mention about, you know, hobbies that they have or whatever, because those are the things that are important to them. Any sort of socializing interactions that they had, those are good references. So make sure you compliment them a lot. Their motto is "You can do it." And their dominant fear is rejection. So these are the ones that want to be popular. They want to be the cheerleaders. They're going to be the ones that are out all up in your faces. And while you guys are wrapping that up, these a recap, your eyes, they shape environment by influencing or persuading others. I'm sorry, it says you can do it. Motto is you can do it. Dominant fear is rejection. You can do it. Yep. You can do it. Who is a high I? Who thinks that they're a high I or tested high I? Yeah. You see a lot of those characteristics in yourselves? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I type, strengths and weaknesses. Their strengths is that they're creative problem solvers. They are the ones that are going to vocalize ideas and solutions, and they want to take the time to brainstorm with you. They want to collaborate. They want to contribute, but they also want to feel heard. They are great encouragers. They motivate others. Positive sense of humor, negotiate conflicts, and they're the peacemakers. So with I-type personalities, these are the ones that are very, very good. It's just like a natural talent of them to just keep everything light, right? Everything's funny, everything's hilarious. And so, you know, is that you? Is that why you're laughing? Everything's funny. They think they're the funniest in the room. Weaknesses. They're more concerned with popularity than results. What's that? Are you feeling attacked? They're inattentive to details. They overuse gestures or facial expressions, and they tend to listen only when it's convenient. So with your high I's, when you're working with them, especially as clients, when they want to chit chat, they want to get to know you. These are the type of people that you're going to need to make a point to follow up with. So if there's things that they need to do or that they need to write down, I would definitely recommend either sending them a recap email or making sure that you call them in a couple of days to remind them to say, hey, did you do this? Because this is where that scroll kind of comes into factor, right? Okay. When interacting with an I-type, do be favorable and friendly. Ask them all the questions about them. Let them talk about themselves because they want to tell you all about it. Give them opportunity for verbalization about ideas. These are the people who also talk all the time about how intuitive they are. So whatever that means, right? But if you think about it, people do have and we all have good intuition, but these are the ones that I feel like really tap into it more. I think this is where they come into play with like the people pleaser, right? Or the people oriented side. They do help develop talking to action. So this is why a lot of good coaches are high I's, is because again, they're the good cheerleaders, but they're good about, you know, I would say like the velvet hammer, right? That's what they call Mo Anderson. You guys know Mo Anderson? They're the velvet hammer. They're going to kick your butt, but they're going to love you while they do it. Do share testimonials from others. Allow time for stimulating social activities. Do submit details in writing and develop a participative relationship. And I want to pause there. This kind of that was a good reminder for me. As we're going through these different personalities, I would recommend in your buyer and your listing packets, have at least one printout or one thing that's going to appeal to each one of these personality types. So with an I, what they're going to want to go to is straight to the testimonials, right? They want to know that you are a people-oriented people. They want to know what other people's experiences have been with you. So with that, I would definitely think about testimonials. And if you're a newer agent, you don't have testimonials yet, reach out to your friends or your family or your peers here at KW. You can use a testimonial from, wherever. But I think that will help you get a lot of credibility with these personality types a lot faster. Okay. When interacting with an I type, don't eliminate social time. They need, that's where they get their cup filled. That's where they get their energy. Don't do all the talking. Let them do all the talking. Don't ignore their ideas. They need lots of validation, and don't tell them what to do. Again, it's more of a collaborative thing. So I like to say like the we thing. Let's do it together. What are we going to do about this? Okay. How to spot one. Quick recap. They love to talk a lot. Very gregarious. They talk about themselves. They love to have conversations. They want to find more about you. These are the people who really want to have a friend who is also a professional. How to close one. Be friendly and exciting. Again, keep it light. Have an energetic close. And yeah, make it lighthearted before you get down to business. So in your companies, typically are your sales and your marketing people are your eyes. Those are the marketing people that are going to come up to you, introduce themselves, get to know you right off the bat, have no fear about who they talk to or when they talk to them, right? Okay. Any thoughts on eyes? Do you still feel attacked? What was your name again? Greg? You feel better now, or do you feel attacked still? Well, see, like, again, that's what I'm saying. It's not good or bad, right? It's just kind of exposing all of us. Oh, yes. See? Maybe we are all actually learning something. Okay, S types. So my picture for an S type is a little puppy dog. I wish you could see it. It's so cute. But the S types are your steady people. These are your very consistent people. These are the caregivers. These are like, I like to say that these are like the motherly figures, right? They want to make sure everybody's happy, everybody's taken care of. These are the people that you can always rely on, just like the steady Eddie who's always there and just keeping everything flowing, right? So with your S types, they ask why type questions. They want to know why is this important to you? Why are you moving? What's this going to do for your family? With the S types, have you guys heard of, I think it's the 3 questions deep, right? 3 or 5 questions. When you ask somebody why they're moving, they're going to say, oh, we're going to go to Indianapolis. I don't know. I just went there for the Indy 500. So don't move to Indianapolis. Oh, I was so grateful to be back in Utah when I came back. But if they say they're going to go to Indianapolis, okay, well, why are you going to Indianapolis? Well, my husband just got a new job. Well, why is that important to you guys? Or what's that going to do for your family? Right? Keep asking, keep digging more questions, because these are one of the personality types that are going to be maybe a little bit more reserved in their first initial interaction with you. But family and people, that is what's going to be the strongest suit for them. And so if you can, that's how you're going to tug on their heartstrings, is if you can figure out what their real why is, I guess. And I think that's a good leverage piece for you too. It is if you know what their key motivator is, if you can get down to that root why of their move or what's important to them, then you can use that as a leverage piece if things go sour in the transaction, or you can just kind of use that as a reminder for them for reassurance, right? Well, this is important to you for your health insurance, or this is going to do so much for your family, right? It's just a good talking point that you can have in your back pocket. Okay, so their keywords, they are stable, steady, and secure. These are the ones that you kind of just like, if you have a hard day, right? You just naturally want to go. And these are the ones that have so much love to give. Their key emotion is that they hide their emotion. So this is where you're going to need to take a little bit more time, like I said, to get to know them and ask them a little bit more questions. With like your D's and your I types, they're quick, they're gregarious, they're all over the top. They're going to tell you everything you need to know right now. But with your S's and the C's, when we talk about C's next, you're gonna have to take some time to kind of pull them out of their shell a little bit. And you're gonna have to take some more time up front to get to know them before they feel like they can trust you. Okay, so they're motivated by benefits. That's what that says. How is this going to benefit not only them, but how's it going to benefit their family? So if you feel like you're working with an S type, definitely keep working into the family aspect. That's a huge leverage piece that you have is they'll know that you care if you're showing care for who's around them and and who's important to them in their life. Their motto is better safe than sorry. So again, they like to be steady. They like consistency. This is kind of like another, like I would say a lot of times, I'm sure we've all heard it coming into real estate, coming into a commission paid only industry. A lot of times the spouse gives a little bit more pushback. They like their consistent paycheck. They like their insurance. They like that predictability and that consistency. So for the S types and the C types, especially for spouses, right? We hear that a lot. That's a big deal for them. Dominant fear, loss of security and change. I would say your S types aren't as resistant to change as your C's are, and we'll talk about why. But again, these guys are going to need a lot of reassurance and a lot of hand holding. Just let them know that you care. Okay, as you guys are wrapping that up, recap. They cooperate with others within existing circumstances to carry out a task. So how we broke it all out into the 4 quadrants: people oriented and also task oriented. Okay, S type. Do you want a worksheet? I just realized you don't have one. Sorry. Jeez. Okay. There you go. Sorry, my shoulder is so screwed up. Okay, strengths. They are reliable and dependable. They are loyal team workers. They are compliant, good listeners, patient, and good at reconciling conflicts. So again, these are kind of like the steady eddies, right? I feel like with your D's and your I's, you're kind of getting bounced all over the place with who you're going to get and what energy level you're going to get. But these are the ones that are always the consistent ones. The weaknesses is that they resist change. They take a lot of time to adjust to change. They hold a grudge. And I would say that's more that I like to note that there, because again, they're not the ones that are going to express their emotions, right? So with S types, if I feel like, I'm getting a little bit of a resistance from them, if I'm getting ready to close them, one good script that I like to use is, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? How do you feel? These are the how type guys, right? But I like to use the we thing. How are we feeling? Tell me where you're at. What are your thoughts? Ask them a lot of open-ended questions, and make them feel comfortable to branch out to you. So I've noticed that those couple scripts work really well with these guys. They are sensitive to criticism. I'll say they're just sensitive all around. They just want to love and be loved. And they have difficulty establishing priorities. They just want to get it all done and make sure everybody's happy. Do you guys do like under contract gifts? Congrats, you're under contract type things? So that's one thing that like I've started doing, I would say within the last couple of years, is when you're going through a transaction, we want to celebrate the small things, right? And the small things I think are what stand out the most. So a quick little thing that I'll do is whenever we have a deal go under contract, I'll have Crumble deliver them some Crumble cookies. It's $20-$30 to get it delivered. And you can write them a little note that says, hey, congrats on getting under contract. Thank you so much for trusting me. I'm super excited. Whatever cute little note that you want to say. But that type of service really, I think it sinks in with everybody, right? No matter what personality type, but the S types are it's really going to shine through to them. So you feel like you need a little bit more oomph to get through to an S or a C type. Little small things like that make a big difference. Another thing too is if you spend time getting to know your clients ahead of time, if you know that they love to go eat at Tsunami, you could send them a gift card to Tsunami, or you could have that be part of your closing gift. Or if there's something that goes sour, if they're a little bit stressed on something, send them a Tsunami gift card to say, hey, I know things are a little bit are rough, or go relax and have dinner on me. So that's where, you want to get a little bit more personable, a little bit more sentimental with these guys. Okay, when you're interacting with an S type, do express genuine concern and interest in them. Provide clarification for tasks. Again, ask how questions. Do be patient. Do present ideas. Give them time to adjust, right? So that's kind of where, again, where I like to say, hey, how are we doing? How are we feeling? Tell me what you're thinking. Clearly define expectations, assure them of personal follow-up, and explain procedures. So these are very detail-oriented people. These, you might get some of them that are going to read through the contracts. And for the C types, when we talk about them, the C types are going to read through the contracts for sure. But they're very detail-oriented. They need a lot of reassurance, okay? Don't be pushy or overly aggressive, and don't be too confrontational. Keep it open to conversation, keep it light. Okay, how to spot one. They talk about and is more concerned with who is around them rather than themselves. They're the glue that holds people together. They're generally quiet. They're the ones that are going to kind of sit back at the dinner table. So let's say that you've got a high D husband and a high S wife. Who do you think is going to be interacting with you the most? The D type, right? So they're going to be the one that's upfront, communicating, conversating, giving you the answers. And I think this is just something to be mindful of, especially when you're working with spouses, that they both need to feel like they're being heard and they both need to feel like they're being validated, right? So it's, with that sort of dynamic, a D and an S, you're going to have to make a point to kind of stop the conversation or slow down a little bit to ask the S, okay, well, what are your thoughts? Tell me how you're feeling, right? And keep them involved in the conversation, because a lot of times the D and the I's are going to overpower. So make sure that they feel like they're being seen and that you take the time to acknowledge them too. Okay, S type, how to close one. Don't scare them away with numbers and exciting things. They want to see a plan and they want to see how you're going to do it, and they want to see the evidence of it all, right? And credibility. Do ask how they're feeling and give them time to consider their response. In the corporate world, these are typically your HR professionals. They want to keep the harmony. They want to keep everybody happy, and they're very good at like dissolving conflicts and very level-headed, I would say, from an emotional standpoint. Okay, any thoughts on S types? What kind of printout or page would you think would be important in your buyer and listing packets for an S type? What would they want to see? Yep, exactly. Yeah, he said step-by-step process. What's that? Oh, darn, I said something. No, it's all good. It's all good. No, yeah. So I know in Command and KW, there's a sheet on there that has, I think it's like a 14-step process breakdown of the home buying and home selling process. So you can just even use that as a starting point. But yeah, they want to see the plan. They want to see how it's going to be executed. Okay, last one, C type. These are your compliant people, and I have a wise owl for our picture for our C's. They ask lots of how questions. They want to know the details. These are the guys that want to see statistics. They look at the numbers, and these are the ones that are going to sit behind a computer screen and work numbers all day long and love what they do. That drives me insane. That's like brain damage to me personally. No, no way. Are you a high C? Are you like a highest as your C? Did you take the test? Yeah, yeah, you totally are. Because he works with numbers all day long. Bless your heart. Bless your heart, Mike. We need mics in this world. I need mics in this world. Yes. Okay. So their keywords, they are compliant, they're correct, and controlled. So these are your employees or your people that want to make sure that everything is done right, and it's done right the first time. These are the ones that are worried about getting in trouble for doing anything wrong, right? Everything has to be perfect. Think about the pencil video, right? Everything had to be in its right place. You had to have a backup just in case. Their key emotion is fear and risk aversion. So they do operate a lot out of fear. They want to make sure that they don't get in trouble, that they do everything right again, So with your buyers and your sellers, if you feel like you're getting kind of like a fearful attitude from them, or if they're fear driven, then that's when you're going to need to take some time and do more of like a needs analysis on them and make sure that their concerns are heard, that we write them down, that you address exactly what their needs are. They're going to need to, you're going to need to be very patient with these guys. And so for me, you tell me what your experience is, but since I'm a high D, I would say, you know, because I'm just aggressive and I want to get it done, sometimes it can kind of be perceived to a C type that I'm just like steamrolling over these guys. And I don't mean to do that, right? So that's where I can understand. I know that I need to tone down my D and I need to bring up my C. I'm actually lowest on my C, but that's where I can be able to kind of adjust and morph based off of where they're at. We need to meet our clients where they are, right? Let's see. They're motivated by correctness and high standards of quality. Their motto is do it right. I'm sorry about those slides. This is like irritating me so bad. Their dominant fear is criticism. So let's see, somebody on staff here, that would be a high C. Probably your Novalee, for sure. Novalee would be a very, very high C, but she's incredible. She always has everything right the first time. Always. And she's got her systems in place. Like she's the one that is the most probably consistent, right? Yeah. It is do it right. Sorry, I think that my slide deck has a different font than what this has. That's why it's shown up all weird. But I see. I am the lowest C. Exhibit A. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so they work conscientiously within existing circumstances to ensure quality and accuracy. So in your corporate America world, these are definitely your CFOs or your IT professionals. These are I like to call them the nerds, right? I love nerds, but these are the ones that love to do all of like the numbers, the operation systems, all the detail work. Strengths of a C type. Their perspective is that they're the anchor of reality. They're the ones that are going to check a D and an I real quick, because D's and I's, they think that they can take on the world and do everything all at once. But these are the C types are going to bring them back down to earth. So these are the ones that are good at the reality checks. They're conscientious and even tempered, thorough in all activities, defines situation, gathers, criticizes, and tests information. Weaknesses. They need clear-cut boundaries. Bound by procedures and methods, gets bogged down in details, prefers not to verbalize feelings, and will give in rather than argue. So this is where your D's and your C's are polar opposite ends of the spectrum, right? These guys are just going to want to put their heads down, get the job done, and do it right, you know, but the D is going to be the one to step up and challenge the ideas. Okay, interacting with a C type. Do prepare your case in advance. Do delineate pros and cons of proposed ideas. Support ideas and statements with accurate data. This is going to be one of the biggest talking points with your C-type personalities are statistics and data. They want it, the proof is in the numbers for them. So in your buyer and listing packets, you're going to want to have a statistics sheet. And if you're a new agent who doesn't have those yet, use the brokerage numbers. You can say our brokerage did this or our team did this, right? But if you're experienced, go into the MLS and get your list to sell ratios, get your average sales price. They want to see all of everything that you've done and back it up. Give them the sources of it all, right? They love to see graphs too. If you can do graphs, that is a big, big talking point for them. Provide exact descriptions of what to expect and do disagree with the facts rather than the person. So again, they're very sensitive. And that's why I like to let the numbers do the talking. Okay. Don't refuse to explain details and don't answer questions vaguely or casually. How to spot one, thorough and proper. And these are the readers of the contract. So if you feel like you're working with a C client, if this is your first time seeing them, if you're at the listing appointment, this will be a good excuse for you to go sit down at the table with them and give them a copy of the contract. If they want to read it, Ask if it's okay. Well, while they're reading the contract, can I go give myself a tour of the house and go see it through the buyer's eyes, right? So that way you can give them the time and not feel pressured to read through the contract. And then you can kind of speed up the process a little bit by giving yourself a tour. How to close one, give them the details and provide them thorough information. Written information is even better. So again, you've got your IT professionals, CFOs, nerds. Just kidding. I love you. Okay, cool. So that's kind of your disc overview. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys see the importance of understanding each trait? Can you see how this would be a value if you start applying this into your consultations or even over the phone when you're talking to people over the phone? Okay. So I want to kind of leave this with you guys. Keep this in mind and start practicing this in the back of your head as you're interacting with people. Think about these different personality traits and figure out who you're working with and watch the communication types with them. Start practicing with yourself. So, because for me, and especially after teaching this class, I mean, I probably within 15 or 20 seconds now can realize, I notice exactly what type of personality I'm working with and how to communicate with them. And it's just second nature to me now. I don't even have to pay attention anymore, but it definitely can be a huge, huge resource for you. So as you're going through, ask yourself, is this person forward or backward in their communication? And I want to change that word from backward. I would say more like reserved. Are they aggressive, right? Are they active? Are they wanting to pursue the conversation or get results now? Or are they the ones that want to kind of sit back and analyze everything, read the contract? So, are you a D&I or an S or a C, first of all, right? And then ask yourself, are they people or task oriented? And that's, 2 quick questions that can help you figure out what type of person that you're working with. Okay. Awesome. What are you guys' questions? Any thoughts? Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that would bring us back earlier to where I was saying your different personalities come out and give in different situations, right? So like I mentioned, I'm more high D when I'm at work because that's just, how I operate. But then when I'm with my friends, I'm still a high D, but my I comes out more. I want to socialize and, I'm comfortable with my friends. So adaptive would be how you would be at work or how you would be if you're not just like at home in your happy place or with your people. And then what was it? The internal one? Is that what it was? Yeah. So that's just who you are, period. So with your friends, family, when you're comfortable, that would be that one. That's a good question.
So can I add something to that?
Yes, please.
I did this a few years ago with my previous employer, and they actually said the bigger delta between your natural and your adaptive style, meaning the more you change for work, the more tired at the end of the day. So if you can find a way to even those out so you're not changing, yes, the emotional toll is going to take far less toll on yourself.
That is such a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. And I mean, I think that we all can say that just naturally who we are, there's people that we can think of right now that just drain us. It just exhausts us, right? And this is why, is because that's just not who we are. And we're having to tone it up and tone it down. So if we're in environments where we're forced to do that, yeah, we're going to be drained by the end of the day. And that's what I love about real estate is there is a place for anybody in this business, right? I think it's just a matter of exposing what your strong suits are and what your weaknesses are and speaking to that. So no, I think that's a great thing to kind of keep in mind. If you hate door knocking, then don't do door knocking. Go do, SOI or, cold calls. Like find what speaks to you and naturally what you like to do. And I think that's what's really going to help give you more fulfillment. One really interesting thing that I've kind of had in mind, especially as I've been teaching this course, is love languages. Are you guys familiar with the love languages? And so I think I want to involve this class into coupling love languages with the different personality types, because I do think that they very much go hand in hand. So, as you start getting better about analyzing different personalities, think about what their love languages might be and speak to that through the transactions and after transactions. If they like gifts, give them crumble, or if they love their family, give them passes to go to the aquarium, right? So how can you kind of mesh the two together? It's what I've been thinking about, at least. Yeah. Yeah, so I can send out this slide deck and a couple more videos. But I want you guys to sit down and do the KPA with a staff member. If you haven't done a KPA, I think that will be more hands-on and help you kind of put things more into like reality for you. It is insane how accurate that assessment is. And it's weird because you were just saying that you were feeling attacked, right? This assessment, the KPA, has a descriptive review at the end of the assessment, which probably will be like 4 paragraphs long, but it explains exactly who you are in detail. It is insane. So that would be my first suggestion, is to have you take that assessment and sit down with the staff member and kind of plug and play what you learned today into that assessment. But yeah, I can send you some more information. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions? Sweet. Okay. Did everybody get the roster to fill out and to sign? Okay. Make sure. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, that is it. If you guys have a little bit more time, I'm going to have Mike help us. If you haven't downloaded and set up your Intraland app, I'm going to have him help us do that real quick. If anybody has not either set up their app or sent a fast track, we've got gift cards that we're going to give to you if you just want to do it real quick. It'll take 10 minutes. So if you got some time, come hang out and we'll get you all set up. Yeah, you're so welcome. Okay, while I'm pulling this up, you guys, I gave you 2 Intraland flyers. One of them says 8 steps to fast track right here. On the bottom of it, there's a QR code to download the app. So if you don't have it downloaded, scan that real quick and set up your account. And I want to make sure that as you guys are here, that your accounts are set up, because this is now part of the process of the brokerage. So I just want to make sure that you're ready to go. See who's saying, is anybody saying to set up their app? Are you going to set up your app? Your Intraland app?